Everybody goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I hope you all enjoying your Monday. I hope you guys had a wonderful and fruitful weekend. Y'all deserve it, just like I deserve it. Dag nabbit. Hopefully, it's been a wonderful one, a productive one. Hopefully, you guys did something positive. I know a lot of us have been getting prepared or getting ready for Halloween. Let's be real. Halloween's right around the corner. It's this coming weekend, y'all. I know a lot of people went out and kicked it this whole weekend for Halloween, a week early. You know, some people are getting their parties on now instead of next weekend and all that. And some are doing their parties next weekend as well. But, you know, I digress. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, get the party in while you can. You feel me? But good morning to everybody who's starting to file in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are all doing well. You know what I'm saying? Be sure to hit that like button down below. We got to do that, of course, because, you know, I got to pay these bills. You know what I'm saying? I gotta live life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to grow this channel. So please do not forget to hit that like button down below. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay? I'm just going to be straight funky with you guys heading off into this conversation, the conversations that we have today. Let me just say something real quick. Okay? Let me lower this music a little bit because it is kind of a little loud, but here it is. There was a gigantic storm that blasted through my neck of the woods last night. So the internet might be a little funky today. So I just wanted to give you guys a full-on heads up with that, because I'm seeing that it just keeps dropping out. And I've been battling with this, trying to make a decision whether to do a show or not, because the signal is so trashy right now. Like I said, the internet has been really, really bad since this storm. We had 2 tornadoes that came through a little south from where I am, and last night. And right now it is just acting, the internet is acting a damn fool right now. So I don't know what's going on, if it's going to stay with me or not. But I just wanted to let you know, if it's really sticky today, it's sticky solely because the internet is trash right now. The internet is really trash. So I'm going to make this be a very short show. We got a couple stories that I wanted to talk about real quick. You know what I mean? Couple stories I wanted to talk about real quick that I wanted to chop it up. You know what I'm saying? The show, I am based out of Missouri. So I am in St. Louis, Missouri. And yeah, like I said, there was a tornado, 2 tornadoes touched down last night. And so like, it's just rocked everything. And like I said, it's all messed up. So hopefully it'll figure itself out throughout this show. I figured I'd just come on real quick, chop it up with you guys on some stories that are popping off right now as we speak. But yeah, like I said, the internet is really weird right now. You know what I mean? Actually, let me check something real quick. Let me see something. Okay, so still, I mean, it's, you guys can still hear sound, but it's still really trashy. All right, so it's just chopping in and out. You know what I mean? And yes, thank you, Lady Justice. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm safe too. You know, once again, you know, it kind of came in, it did its thing. Of course, we are all sitting there, you know, biting our nails, you know, just at the edge of our seats, kind of trying to figure out what if it was going to hit us in my neck of the woods, in our city at all. And it didn't. It went right underneath us, which we're very lucky for that. Real talk. We are extremely lucky for that. But at the same time, there was a really bad storm that came in. It rocked the nation for 2 seconds and then disappeared. But still, it has its lingering effects on the show right now, on the feed, on the live stream. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, so I appreciate you, giving me some well wishes and saying, and just being happy that I'm still on this planet and that we're okay. And we are okay. We are okay. All right. But the internet, like I said, is going to be really, really choppy. So just a full on heads up to that. And what sucks is that, like, I have some things prepared. Like, I was ready to show you guys some things, some pre-recorded things, that I've done elsewhere and all that. And I don't even know if I should play those things on the show today because of how crappy the internet is right now. You see what I'm saying? And it sucks, So we're just going to have to do what we do. You know what I'm saying? But I told myself I'd be doing a couple things in light of it being Halloween week, right? We're all celebrating Halloween this weekend, or most of us, let's just keep it real. Most of us are going to be celebrating All Hallows Eve at some point this week, right? All of us are going to be dressed up. Most of us are going to be dressed up in some sort of way. All of us are going to be eating some sort of candy that is Halloween centric at some point today. So I figured, why not start off the show with a little bit of a chuckle? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's now for something completely different. I guess that's what they say.
Damn, girl. Why you gotta run away like that? Damn.
Feelings so deep in my feelings. Girl, you know it's not like me to not give you anxiety. Feelings like you're hanging from the ceiling, choking you so you can't breathe. Girl, that does something to me. Ooh, girl, I never stop chasing you until I find someone new that runs and screams like you do. Listen to my knife go slash, slash, shoot up, slash, slash, shoot up. Hear my knife go slash, slash, shoot up, slash, slash. It just won't stop me now. Oh, how many ways can I say I'ma kill you, baby? It's true, and no, I won't die without you. Feelings all over my body. You know that I like it when I'm staring, stalking you. Ooh, girl, I never stop chasing you until I find someone new that runs and screams like you do. Listen to my knife go slash, slash, shoot up, slash, slash, shoot up. Hear my knife go slash, slash, shoot up, slash, slash. It just won't stop me now.
Yes, happy Halloween, everybody. It's just a little chuckle. I know the internet has been really, really crappy, but hopefully you can see a little bit of it. A little bit of it. And like I said, every single show that I do from this point on up, going into the weekend, I'll be playing some sort of skit or something before we start the show. So, because I got a lot of them. I'm so sorry. I got a lot of them. All right. So, something a little different, because I know we've been covering a lot of other stuff as of recently, and I haven't been able to do anything. Okay, I haven't been able to do anything in a minute because I've been so busy covering these stories that we have been discussing, or this one main topic, obviously, and now that story has come to an end. All right, and I got to be honest, I'm very happy about that. I'm very excited about that. I mean, I don't like the way that story ended, right? But I am excited that the story is ending, right? That we are in that place where we're in this place where We have talked about it so many times. We've covered that story for so many weeks, that the fact that we are finally like wrapping it up, nipping it in the bud is honestly, in my personal opinion, a very great thing, because, you know, there's other stories, there's other bigger issues that are going on in the world that we need to talk about. Real talk. You see what I'm saying? And also, I want to get back to having some fun, making you guys laugh, entertaining all y'all issues and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? It's about that time. It's about that time to get back to those things. Yes, talk about the things that are really going on in the world, but at the same time, bringing that back, that balance, you know, bringing the balance back into the world. You see what I'm saying? So without further ado, we got to go into our stories now. Okay. Now the thing is and we don't have David today. We're in the middle of doing some really crazy stuff here over the course of this week. I'll explain later. I promise you, I will explain later. But right now, we're kind of going to be like co-hosts and all that will be sprinkled in and out for the course of the show, for the course of this week, actually, because of the things that we got moving on and everything. But we got to jump into some stories, y'all, because we got some crazy stuff going on, man. One that has become a huge story as of recently. Or as of this morning, there has been three abandoned children, 3 boys that were found in a Texas apartment with their brother's skeletal remains. I'm not kidding. This is a true story. And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this, to be really, 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 really honest. But of course, you know, I got to pull this stuff up before we forget all that stuff. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, that'd be greatly appreciated. But we got to go into this story because I saw this morning and I'm like, man, I don't see anybody talking about this story. I don't see anybody rapping about this. We got to jump into it. I've seen other people talking about, of course, the Alec Baldwin stuff. And of course, the Barclay Center protests that were going on. We're going to take a look at some of those as well. It's ridiculous, but definitely we got to go into this. I got a couple news clips as well from the local news in Houston, and we're going to be looking at what the chief of police has been saying as far as the updates and details surrounding this situation. But let's get into this article really quick. The skeletal remains of a child and 3 surviving siblings who appear to have been abandoned have been found inside an apartment in the Houston area of Texas. One of the children, a 15-year-old, called the Harris County Sheriff's Office on Sunday afternoon and told authorities that his 90-year-old brother had been dead for a year. A year, y'all. And the body was inside the apartment, the office said in a statement. Let me repeat that one more time for the nosebleed seats, okay? The 15-year-old boy calls the Harris County Sheriff's Office on Sunday afternoon and tells the authorities that his 9-year-old brother had been dead for a year and his body was still inside the apartment. Deputies responded and found the teenager and 2 other siblings aged 10 and 7 living alone in the apartment. The other child's skeletal remains were also located. It appears that the remains have been there for an extended period of time. And I emphasize extended. That's what Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said. All right. The sheriff said it also appeared the surviving children were fending for each other, with the oldest caring for the younger 2. It was unclear whether any were attending school. The younger children appeared malnourished and had physical injuries, the statement said. All 3 were taken to the hospital to be assessed and treated. The mother of the children and her boyfriend were later located, authorities said. Both were being questioned. No, both should be arrested. That's what I think. They should be locked up. Period. Okay? Neighbors expressed shock and disbelief when they learned about the children. Kayla Williams told the Houston Chronicle she had 2 children, but did not plan to tell them what happened. I don't need to put this in their heads, she said. This is crazy. I couldn't agree more. This is the craziest story I've ever heard. You got a 15-year-old boy that is basically the oldest, obviously taking care of his two younger brothers. Finally finding the chance. I don't know how this is being brought up, or how he was able to obtain a phone, or why he wasn't able to call the cops beforehand, but he must have been held against his will, or locked up in a room or something like that with his 10-year-old brother and his 7-year-old brother, right? So he finally gets his hands on a phone. He stops and says, I need somebody to come here because we have a dead 9-year-old brother that's been there inside that home for well over a year. Now, the question is, like, before I go into the news clips and everything, another question that pops up in my head is, why, and this sounds morbid as hell, but why couldn't anybody smell what was going on in that apartment complex? Couldn't somebody smell that smell of a rotting body, a decaying body? At some point, they're not going to sit there and go, man, did a raccoon die somewhere, or did an animal die somewhere? Wouldn't that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the smell of a body is no joke, y'all. The smell of a dead body is quite pungent, for lack of a better word. Has a lasting impression on you, if you feel what I'm saying. So why didn't anybody know about the body, or smell that and go, something's not right in the apartment complex. Something's smelling wrong. Right? Wouldn't somebody sit there and wonder what the hell's going on? My personal opinion with this, I mean, of course, we're going to go into the news piece here, some news clips. But these kids must have been locked up or tied up, chained to something, to the point where they couldn't go anywhere. But the one thing that drives me crazy is that the last line, one of the last few lines at the end, in regards to the parents, or in regards to the mother and the boyfriend, the fact that they said that they've just been brought in for questioning, and that's it. So not being brought in for endangerment or neglect or anything of that sort, not for the fact of a possible homicide, because there's a dead body or there's skeletal remains of a 9-year-old boy inside that same apartment with these 3 other boys that were literally fending for themselves. Unbelievable, y'all. Well, we got a couple news clips. I want to pull this up real quick because, you know, to me, this is nightmarish. Let's take a listen.
Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff, joined here by several of our leaders. Immediately to my right, Lieutenant Vinegary, and then Lieutenant Cook as well to my left. Very horrific situation out here, very tragic. Been in this business for a long time, and I had never heard a scenario like this. It really caught me by surprise. What we have right here is we have an apartment unit. It appears to be where 3 juveniles were left abandoned pretty much. I'm told they range in ages from 15, 10, and 7 years old. They've been here for an extended period of time. At the same time, we also have the skeletal remains of what appears to be a juvenile. It appears to have been there for also an extended period of time. We don't know how long. That'll be part of the forensic investigation. We don't know the exact age, but we anticipate again that it's the skeletal remains for a juvenile. And other than that, right now, it's just very preliminary information. We're trying to identify next of kin to determine exactly what's happened and how we got to this point. But again, a very horrific set of circumstances. And so, you know, very troubled by all this. Our members are troubled by it, but we're going to make sure we do everything we can and make sure we conduct a thorough follow-up investigation, make sure that the kids are okay. This will be a follow-up investigation involving multiple agencies because we also have juveniles involved. So that's what we have right now. En español, brevemente, estamos aquí en una unidad, en los apartamentos, encontramos a 3 juveniles que parecen que están abandonados por un tiempo, de edades de 15 años, 10 y 7 años de edad. Al mismo tiempo encontramos un cadáver dentro del apartamento que parece también que había estado ahí por un tiempo, ya por mucho tiempo, y va a ser parte de nuestra investigación. Entonces, en este momento no hemos localizado los parientes o familiares ni nada. Va a ser algo que va a ser parte de nuestra investigación. Any questions?
Sheriff, what are the kids telling? Can you talk about what
it's part of our investigation. Our detectives will begin, that part of it. It's very early right now. And so we're making sure, first of all, that they're okay. And then we'll have to determine next steps after that, and again get to the bottom of what happened.
How did you guys get called here?
We received basically information for a welfare check. I'll see what information our detectives want us to put out other than us. We got information about this particular unit, and when they arrived, they discovered 3 juveniles just at plain view. It appears they're living in pretty deplorable conditions at first glance. They haven't gone in there to do a thorough scene investigation at this point. But again, our hearts break for those 3. They're still children, and so for the one that has passed away.
When it comes to the parents, where does your investigation stand on that?
Very early right now. That's why we'd like to identify who are the parents, adults, next of kin are, just so we'd like to know exactly what we have here. We in our experience, it's always best to not speculate and just let the investigation take its course. But very disturbing sets of circumstances. So we definitely want some answers for these children.
Were these children able to leave the apartment? Were they locked in? Or
I haven't been told that they were necessarily locked in. But that age, it appears that they were basically fending for each other, which is very sad. Again, we have a 15-year-old, a 10 and 7, and I think the older sibling was basically doing the best he could to take care of the others. And again, the deceased one, or the skeletal remains, we believe at this point it's going to be another juvenile, possibly a sibling that passed away. And it appears the skeletal remains have been there for an extended period of time. So, just connecting all the dots at this point, it seems that they were in there while the body was deteriorating.
was there a reason that 15-year-old
Unbelievable.
didn't call 911?
I mean, this is like this is just disturbing, y'all. Let me finish this, but I'm sorry. I'm still wrapping my mind around these 3 children that have been around their dead brother for a year, watching him decay for over a year, to the point where he is decayed to the point of skeletal remains. That's how bad it was for a full-on year. How does that even happen, right? And we got these 3 young men, 3 young boys, having to, quote unquote, as the article said, fend for themselves so that they can fend for themselves and deal with their dead brother literally wilting away right before their eyes. If I'm correct, there was a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 15-year-old. Think about what kind of lasting impression that has on any child. That's insane.
We haven't gotten that far as access to phones or that they seek help or not. We don't know what happened.
And the body, was it invisible? Was it in where was it located? Could you see it?
The body was not concealed to my knowledge. So I don't think the body was necessarily concealed. It was just in the apartment. I don't know exactly where.
Do you believe that the deceased, the remains that you found,
Unbelievable,
they're all siblings? That these are all from the same family?
That's most likely what it'll be. That's what our initial speculation is. But again, we'll work with the Houston Institute of the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences to let them make the ultimate determination, because at this point we're dealing with skeletal remains. So we don't know the identity, but just from the initial information we do have, we're led to believe that it's one of the siblings that was in the household when this.
Man, this is just heartbreaking, y'all. I mean, think about that. Put that in your mind for a second, of being in a space where think of like put yourself in those kids' shoes, right? And suddenly you are thinking of, you have your own brother, your own kin over on the side, just decomposing right there in front of you as time goes on. The smell, all that stuff, all of that suddenly that's just unbelievable. I can't believe it. I mean, for me, I still can't believe it. The fact that there is someone out there, there are people out there that would have the audacity to do that to little children, let alone just a human being, but little children with their young developing minds. And the parents are only going in and getting questioned. The parents or the mother and the boyfriend are only only got brought in for questioning. I mean, it's clear as day, right? It's clear as day what's really going on here, and what needs to be done, what needs to be taken care of, who should be thrown in jail or not. It's clear that this is a guilty. You just go ahead and throw them in. You throw them in that cell and throw away the damn key. The type of neglect, the fact that that there are people out here wondering that we're sitting here. Hold on, guys. Okay. Wow. Okay. We're back. That was ridiculous. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, you know what? Blue Daddy, you ain't wrong with that. You ain't wrong with that. That it does sound kind of like Flowers in the Attic type stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like you literally have these children locked up, locked away, and all that. And now they're fending for themselves. You have basically boiled them down to animalistic instincts, I'm sure, where they're probably fighting over scrappings just so that they survive. Like I said, this is a 7, 10, and 15-year-old boy. And the 15-year-old boy was the one, of course, he's the older brother, just keeping an eye on everybody, keeping an eye on the powers, on the situation, right? Trying to keep his family safe, himself and his family safe. Now, this is the only information we have so far. It's still a developing story. But like I said, that's three young boys locked up. One of them calls the police saying, please come here. They've been living in the same space as their dead brother for the past year, watching their 9-year-old brother slowly decay in front of them over a course of a year, living through the smell, living through all the processes of a body decaying or anything decaying like that. Imagine that. Put that in the back of your mind. That's just insane. It's unthinkable. And yet these parents are the mother and the boyfriend are being brought in for questioning. Now, the funny thing is this is a question that I want to know too, because here's the thing. Was it the mother that always had this ill intent, or was this something that was inspired by the boyfriend? You always hear these stories of, single mother or something of that sort. They find a new man. The man comes in and he's a real bad apple. He's bad news. Suddenly, what do you think? They're sitting there following his lead and his abusive ways. And next thing you know, you hear stories like this, not as extreme as this, but you hear stories of children being savagely abused, savagely neglected. You hear these stories because of the guy that rolls into town, right? The new sheriff comes into town in a way. You hear these stories, not as extreme, but you hear stories kind of like this. I mean, clearly the mother already had bad seeds in the back of her mind too. If she's going to be willing to let anything that has happened recently be bestowed upon her own child, her own children. But I'm sure he helped enable that situation even more. Now, Jay, that's a good question. I don't know how long they've been dating. I don't know any of that. You know what I mean? That's a very good question. Like I said, we don't even have the identification of the parents. We don't know anything of that sort as of yet. All we know is that this particular thing that just happened, this horrific thing that just recently happened, did happen. And so far, they're only being questioned right now. Just questioned. I mean, for right now. Clearly, they're going to catch a case. And I hope they throw them under the damn prison. I hope they throw the book at them. All right? Here's another clip. I know this might be a little bit backwards, but here's a little clip. Hopefully there's a little bit more information here in this one as well. Let's take a listen.
For a long time, and I had never heard a scenario like this. It really caught me by surprise.
And horrific discovery. That's what Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez is calling a crime scene at an apartment complex.
3 boys found abandoned inside an apartment unit. Their ages 15, 10, and 7. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says skeletal remains of a 4th child, possibly a 9-year-old sibling, also found. This disturbing discovery made during a welfare check. Now, deputies are working to learn exactly how this. For joining us tonight, I'm Sion Rhodes.
And I'm Jonathan Martinez. We've also learned the mother and her boyfriend are being interviewed by homicide investigators. It happened at the City Park 2 apartments on Greencrest Drive near the West Park Tollway. That's in Southwest Harris County. And that is where we find KPRC2's Bill Barajas. And Bill, we're learning other new information tonight as well.
Well, that's right. According to the sheriff's office, the 15-year-old boy, the oldest found in that apartment unit, is the one who actually called the sheriff's office to tell them that his 9-year-old brother had been dead for about a year and was in the room right next to him. He also told investigators his parents hadn't lived in the home for several months.
Wow.
Crime scene tape was out.
Wow. Hold on. I'm rolling that back, y'all. That's insane. Hold up. I need to hear one last time.
And Bill, we're learning other new information tonight as well.
Well, that's right. According to the sheriff's office, the 15-year-old boy, the oldest found in that apartment unit, is the one who actually called the sheriff's office to tell them that his 9-year-old brother had been dead for about a year and was in the room right next to him. He also told investigators his parents hadn't lived in the home for several months.
So those parents left them there. And then, my bad, the body wasn't decaying. The dead body was not in the same room as them. It was in another room, but still, no matter what, that's still another room. That's still a body that you know for a fact is your brother that is slowly decaying in the room next to you or down the hall near you, in the vicinity of your home. And then on top of that, the parents ain't been there for months, several months. And that's okay. That's okay. They're just being brought in for questioning, and that's it. Does that make sense? Man, come on now. Okay, let's continue with this. I'm sorry. I'm glad I played this so we have a little bit more information here. Oh, and by the way, do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. I see over 400 of y'all watching the show. Welcome to the Pascal Show. I appreciate y'all. Happy Monday to every single last one of y'all. Hit that like button down below. Love to see it go past 200 likes. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? We cover a lot of stuff on this channel. So let's continue, shall we?
Crime scene tape was out front. The apartment in question on the 3rd floor at the City Park 2 at West Oak Apartment Homes. Residents and visitors to the complex shaken by the disturbing discovery.
This is very shocking for me. Very shocking and sad. Very sad. And my thing is, where's the parents? And why would you leave your children?
3 children, ages 15, 10, and 7 years old, were found abandoned. Along with them, the skeletal remains of a minor and possibly a sibling of the 3 boys. Joy Shorter telling us there was an odor in the air.
It was coming all over here. And so we walked in. I was like, oh, something smells bad.
The county's top cop calling the situation horrific.
So there was exactly what I said. I know that sounds morbid. We're talking about a 9-year-old child here, but I got to keep it straight funky. How can you live in an area where you know for a fact something's not smelling right? You are in an area where there is a decaying dead body. I'm sorry for being so callous, but let's be real. Somebody in the area is going to sit there and go, what is that smell? It is an unforgettable smell. You don't just, this is unforgettable, okay? Unforgettable. It lingers, especially if you're around it for a long time. Especially when you're living around it too. Let me be real with you, okay? So I just did a ride along, which is going to be airing in about an hour from now with Wildlife Command Center. They do pest control and all that, right? And I did a ride along where, you know, I'm rolling up my sleeves and I'm running around and doing all this stuff with Bare Hands Baran or Michael Baran of the Wildlife Command Center, right? And we went up to a dead deer. And I'm telling you, that dead deer smell stayed with me for the rest of the day. That smell was so strong. I had no appetite for the whole day. So imagine, I'm sorry for saying it like this, but imagine living in that apartment with that smell. And AZ Infidel, you ain't wrong. The flies, everything else that surrounds a decaying body, it is no joke. Especially if it's not. When we heard it in the press briefing from the Sheriff Gonzalez said it wasn't like it was just tucked away and taken care of. It was just a discarded dead body in another room. So you can only imagine what kind of smell was just wafting through the entire apartment complex. Unbelievable, right? This 9-year-old boy was in an open room. I'm assuming it was just like a cover was over his head and that's it. Over his body and that's it. It wasn't like he was wrapped up in any type of bag or anything of that sort. And I'm sorry for saying and being morbid, but let's keep it real. This is the harsh reality of what these boys were living through. How did these kids get through this for a whole year? They sat through and they went through that for a whole year, y'all, while that body decayed right next door. Oh my good God, this is just terrible.
At plain view, it appears they're living in pretty deplorable conditions. I haven't been told that they were necessarily locked in, but that age, it appears that they were basically fending for each other.
Sheriff Ed Gonzalez saying the children did appear to have food, but didn't know where they were getting it or who was paying the rent at the complex.
No kidding.
We tried asking management about the incident, but were asked to leave the property instead.
Guys would exit now. Thank you very much.
What? Wait, I gotta roll that back. That's crazy. What the hold up. That's fishy. What? What?
Or who was paying the rent at the complex. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez.
It appears that they were basically fending for each other.
Sheriff Ed Gonzalez saying the children did appear to have food, but didn't know where they were getting it or who was paying the rent at the complex.
See, now that's the thing. First off, it's like, how are these kids still surviving? They've been there for a year. They say that the parents had been gone for several months. That's what they said. Parents have not been there. The mother and the boyfriend had not been at the apartment for several months. Several. They left the children there to fend for themselves. So how did the children survive? And it probably is a Section 8 low-income apartment complex, sure, but that still doesn't put food in these children's mouths. So how did the children have food for several months? Even if it was scrappings, even if they were dealing with rationing food, right? How were they able to survive for several months without some sort of sustenance? You can't go without food or water for a period of time. After a period of time, you're going to get sick or you're going to die from thirst or starvation. So who was going over there and dropping off food? Somebody must have. Who was paying the rent? If there was rent to be paid. Still, no matter what, at the end of the day, these children were still they were still surviving. They still had food. But how? Sorry.
We tried asking management about the incident, but were asked to leave the property instead.
Guys would exit now. Thank you very much.
Why would they be thrown away? Why would they be pushed back? If somebody's asking the logical questions of like, why were these kids by themselves? Why didn't anybody know about these kids living by themselves? Why didn't anybody notice? You're telling me that all these neighbors, this entire apartment complex, all damn neighbors weren't noticing something strange? I mean, we are all naturally selfish individuals, right? We're all self-centered in our own worlds. We're sucked in our own stuff all day long. But if you open up your eyes and prick up your ears every once in a while, you're going to see something strange. If something strange is going down, you're going to see it. No one said nothing? And then, of course, when the reporters are asking, hey, sup with that? Sup with that, man? They're asked to leave the premises without any answers. That's just so strange to me, y'all.
And again, all this information coming down in the last few moments. It's still unclear right now how that 9-year-old sibling died. And the sheriff's office saying the children did have some injuries, but are now in the care of the county. Again, the parents have been found and are being questioned by homicide investigators as we speak. Live for now in Southwest Harris County, Bill Barajas, KPRC 2 News.
Y'all, come on, y'all. Like this is disturbing. So you're telling me that these 3 children that were in this apartment complex fending for themselves, rent, I guess, was getting paid. If not, maybe they were getting eviction notices every month. I don't know. Maybe they were sitting on squatter rights. I don't know. But at the same time, these children were in there for several months. So it must have been, I mean, this is the only thing I can think of is like, and this sounds messed up and crazy, but what if the parents were just dropping off bags of food at the top of every month. Boom, here it is. Enjoy yourself. Eat the food. Ration it out. So on and so forth. Or what if they gave them and sing You Ain't Wrong moratorium, the eviction moratorium, you ain't wrong with that. But maybe the parents gave them a, I don't know, Wix card or something like that, EBT card, and said, hey, here's your food stamps for the month. Son, 15-year-old boy, you're going to have to go and get the food, fend for yourselves. Good luck. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the chances, though? I mean, those are good possibilities. At the end of the day, those are good possibilities. But still, these children were neglected, obviously abused. As they're saying that these kids looked terrible. The place was in disarray. They had a decaying dead brother in another room that they were living through. And then when the apartment complex project, the property manager or whatever is being asked questions, logical, regular ass questions, they're getting asked to leave the area. Maybe because they know something. Maybe the property manager was getting paid more just to keep a sort of an eye on those kids. Maybe. I mean, that's some really deep stuff. I don't think it's all that serious. I don't think it's that elaborate, right? I think at the end of the day, you have the parents that just neglected these kids. These kids had to fend for themselves while they are dealing with a dead brother in another room. And like I said before, this is the kind of thing that those parents or the mother and the boyfriend should be arrested immediately. I know that's not entirely the law or something like that, but still, you have a dead body that was her son, I'm assuming, right? That decayed and was a skeleton in another room. Why aren't there grounds for them being arrested and being tossed into a cell like the animals that they are? Come on, man. This stuff is just like I said, this is just unbelievable to me. And yes, downtown Trina Brown, I totally agree. Lock those sickos up. You lock them up with the quickness, period. And here it is. I don't care. It doesn't even matter if there was a dead body involved in this or not. Even if the child was still alive, you lock those people up, period. You don't let them sit around and linger or let them even have an inkling of a moment to escape, because clearly something had happened in that house to the point where the parents, the mother and the boyfriend, decided not to come back for several months. Why? Could have been possibly the smell that they couldn't bear. Could have been possibly just the death of the 9-year-old boy that they just didn't want to keep going back in there, being reminded of the crimes that they were committing. Clearly, regardless if that child, that poor 9-year-old boy, was alive or not, those people should be thrown under the damn prison, period. Lateef, you ain't wrong with that. And, where the F are the maintenance and or ground staff? Did they not notice? That's a great question too. You're telling, we are living in a time people are watching everybody pretty much. I know, like I said, I know we are all we are all nowadays, because we're so wrapped in our phones, we're so wrapped in our own BS, we are naturally self-centered individuals. We are naturally self-centered creatures, right? But then you look at something like this and it's like, wait a second, nobody in that moment of after sending out that Instagram post or, you know, sending out that tweet, you didn't look up and see something strange? Groundskeepers or maintenance or property managers never responded to any of the stuff that maybe the complaints of smell. Like one of the ladies they were interviewing, they're like, yeah, there was a problem with smell. And we were like, what's up with that? So then why didn't they do their due diligence in investigating that ish? Why does it stay this way? Why did they stay like that for several months, almost nearly a year, letting their little brother, letting a body decay inside of an apartment complex? You're telling me that nobody went out there and complained about the smell for months? Just one complaint or two, and they ignored that ish? No one did their due diligence to look into that? People had to live in that. People had to live in that smell. That unbearable smell. And you're telling me everything's Gucci? Other people that need to be questioned. Maintenance, like I agree with Lateef. Maintenance, groundskeeper, the property manager, without a shadow of a doubt. All these people should be investigated into, because somebody knew something more than what they're giving off right now, without a shadow of a doubt. There's no way that you can have a body decaying in some apartment complex without a group of people saying, yo, the smell, if the smell is this bad, I'm out. If you're not going to figure out where that smell is coming from, we're gone. I can't sleep, or I can't even eat, or whatever. Not enough people went out and complained. It doesn't make sense, y'all. It shows something about that apartment complex too. The property manager and the sort. And I'm sure there's other people, higher ups, that are involved that didn't even bother, didn't even give a damn, didn't even lift a finger to find out where that smell was coming from. And if they had found and did their due diligence, maybe this body and this situation would have been nipped in the bud a long time ago. And these kids wouldn't have to fend, quote unquote, fend for themselves off of whatever they were living off of. I hope we get more details. Like I said, I hope we get more details, because this story is so sad to me. And once again, we are here talking about it, but we don't have everything yet. We don't have all the information yet, right? Because people are withholding things, right? We don't even know the names of the parents or of the mother and the boyfriend. We don't know their identity. We don't know anything right now. And I understand about minors, we don't need to know the identity of the young boys. Man, I feel so bad for those boys. But at least we need to know something about the parents, or the mother and the boyfriend. I keep saying parents, but the mother and the boyfriend. Cian 0218, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really do appreciate it. They said, did they say that the children were going to school? If not, did the school district know if they were going to school? Did the district send someone out to check on the children? You know what? That is a very good question as well, because you can only miss school for so long before they start going, what the heck? You never know, though. Those kids could have been going to school, going to and from school, knowing for a fact that maybe they're getting free lunches back at the school. So maybe that's their way of at least eating something. If they were actually going to school, that is. Let me just repeat that again. If they were going to school. But what we know right now is that they were there fending for themselves. That's all we know so far. But Cian, that's a very, very good question. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And again, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. All right. But that's a very, very good point. It's a very good question. Were they just there? Did they go to school? Were they even registered in school? And if they were, why didn't the school do anything about it? Maybe this whole thing, like I've said before, would have been nipped in the bud a long time ago if they knew what was going down. If they just went and looked and said, hey, you know, such and such hasn't been here for a long time. The 15-year-old, he hasn't been hasn't attended any of his classes for weeks. We should check in to see what's going on here. It's interesting. And if they were going to school, wow, man. Then I don't know what to say. I mean, if they were registered in school and they didn't show up to school at all, then that shows something about that school district. And that school district is most definitely dropping the damn ball on these three children. And if they weren't, then I don't know what to say here. My thoughts are they aren't in school at all, that they were just there trying to live. And God knows what kind of living arrangements that they had inside of that apartment, while one of the rooms is basically a tomb for their 9-year-old brother. Unbelievable, y'all. Unbelievable. But we got to go into our next story, guys, unfortunately. Please don't forget to hit that like button down below. I'm going to keep saying that. Hit that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it, okay? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, y'all. You know, we got a lot of stories we're getting into. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of stories, a lot of ridiculousness, a lot of sadness, unfortunately. But definitely hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated, okay? But we got to go into our next story, and this has to do with this has been a very interesting situation. I mean, I told myself I wasn't really going to talk about this for a very specific reason, because I feel like everybody else has talked about it like crazy. And it all revolves around Kyrie Irving and the fact that he is not getting in the poke. Let's just say that. He is refusing to get the poke. And here it is. To each their own. It is what it is. You do what you need to do, right? I understand that there's certain people that feel some type of way about getting the poke. I know that there's some other people that don't feel and have no qualms over it. And they're like, all right, bet. Let's do this so we can get the world back up on its feet so that we can be better, right? So where you stand, okay, is up to you. I think you need to do your own due diligence. I think you need to do your own research and make your own decision. That's what I'm going to say on that. All right. I will never sit here and try to shove it down somebody's throat. But when it comes to you being a public figure, you being out there in the public eye, you running around on a court with thousands of people watching you, there are a lot of things. There's a lot of possibilities of said spread. I'll just say that that could happen if you were not to say get up to date. I like to say get up to date, if you know what I mean. So he said he didn't want to do it. He ain't getting it. Ain't no way he gonna get it. And we get it. Okay. I hear you. I hear him a lot loud and clear. But as of recently, this has been something that's been very interesting. Personally, there have been, or at least outside the Barclays Center in New York, there was a huge anti-protest going on. Let me just show you the video. I'll just show you the video because, like I said, this is insane, y'all. This is where we're at right now. This is exactly where we're at. We got protesters on that. I mean, this looks crazy. You got people who are, this is the weirdest moment in time where you're seeing basically like right wing and left wing coming together in some really messed up way in protest on behalf of Kyrie Irving. Like, let me just show you this video. This is just weird to me. This is literally outside the Barclay Center as they're trying to bust through the doors because they in protest on behalf of Kyrie Irving because he's not out there in the courts dribbling the ball. Like I said, it's just like I said, you're gonna see this. I got a couple. I'm gonna see if I can find a couple other clips, but you're gonna see it's like as if BLM and like MAGA supporters were together. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Take a look. Okay, so this is just one angle. This is just one clip, all right? And it doesn't show everything. It doesn't show everything. But it is a whole group of peeps out here in these wilderness streets, I've been saying. Look at this. This is everybody. All these people, everybody. It is a group of people, some smattering of different opinions, thoughts, and ideas, all outside the Barclay Center, protesting because they have some feelings. They're in their feelings about either whether to get the poke or not. This is the world that we live in right now, y'all. Real talk. Let me just say this. There are so many other things to be upset about. There are so many other things to bring madness in front of, to bring lightness to other subjects. There are so many other things to be protesting and being angry about. But we are angry about a basketball player not willing to get the poke. Really, y'all. We are focusing all of our energy on this. This is what we're living in right now. Like I said, hey, do you, boo-boo? I know where my thoughts lie on it and my feelings lie on it. All right? I do believe in being safe and doing whatever we can to be safe. I do believe in that. I will never put a gun to somebody's head saying whether you should or should not be doing this or that when it comes to getting up to date. But going outside of the Barclay Center, throwing a fit and trying to bring harm to the security and the people that are inside the building, inside the arena already is ridiculous. No one's seeing the message. You're just giving them the emotion. People are going to be looking at it and they're not going to see the forest through the trees. They're not seeing your message at all. Which to begin with, why start a fight? Why start issues for something that is so trivial, so ridiculous? That man made his decision. Let him lay in the bed that he made. Period. And just keep it moving. How does this turn into a full-on protest like this? That's just what I think. Doesn't make sense to me at all. Plenty of other things. There are plenty of other things to be protesting about that matter on this planet and in this country. And we're wasting our time arguing over basketball, arguing over a basketball player, and trying to bust through an arena because one of their players is not playing today. hold on. I got other angles. There's more around here. I got to find it because the one that I had disappeared on me. But there are more. There are most definitely more. Okay, here's another one. Here's another angle. Like I said, it's just we are at a time where we could be. Imagine this kind of energy towards something that we all want to have happen for the betterment of humankind, for the betterment of this country, for the rights of certain individuals, so on and so forth. We're putting all this energy. People are putting all this energy, time, and focus on something that is trivial. Whether Kyrie Irving plays today or tomorrow does not put food on my table, does not leave the light, does not pay the light bill, does not put gas in my car. It doesn't. It doesn't. So why? Why? Why are we putting so much ridiculous effort into something that doesn't matter to me? And it shouldn't matter to anybody else too. We should be looking at these things in a different light. Okay, it's like, oh, he doesn't want to do. Okay, bet, cool. Moving on. You just know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about. I just saw somebody say, Jelani Day. Let's talk about Jelani Day. Let's talk about Christina Nance. Let's talk about Cleo Wells. Let's talk about Orson and Orrin Wells. Let's talk about all these other things that are going on in the world. Let's talk about the Ahmaud Arbery trial. Let's talk about any of these other things that are going on this planet. And yes, I do think that he has a certain responsibility and he should be up to date. If you're going to go and play, you could pass that off to somebody. Sure. I'm with it all day long. But if that's not what he wants to do, then okay, let's keep it moving, baby. There's other things to be upset about. There's other things to bring justice for and shed light on. We shouldn't be focusing our crap on this. All this energy, all this fighting, all this crap. For what? All of this that I'm about to show you, even more. Look at this. All this for what? Because a basketball player doesn't want to get the poke? For real, though? All right. Look at that. Like I said, this is the only time that you're going to see. Look at this, y'all. Hold up. Let me roll that. Look at this. This is the only time you're going to see BLM and MAGA wearing individuals standing next to each other, fighting and protesting and pumping their fists. This is the only time that you're going to see that. Right here. You're seeing it right now. It's Cleo Smith. I'm sorry. Cleo Smith. Look at this. Like I said, plenty of other things to be focused on than this. You got like Antifa, you got BLM, you got MAGA, you got probably some Proud Boys up in this piece. You got everybody in the club. Seriously, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to poke fun at this situation. But this is over a basketball player saying he doesn't want to get the poke. Basketball. Not knocking what he does. He brings happiness and he brings entertainment to this, to our world. Talented athlete, all that stuff. Okay? But this is ridiculous. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I don't mean to poke fun at this situation, but this is a real thing. Let's hear the audio real quick. Okay, that's enough for me. But you see what I'm saying? Don't mean to poke fun at the situation. Yeah. But like I said, what is this? What does this prove? What is this helping? Like I said, I think it's pointless. I think it's absolutely 110% pointless, in my personal opinion. It's pointless. We got better things to do than to do that. That's what I think. Nerd, you ain't wrong. The longer I stay here, the more I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Absolutely. I feel you 110%. I'm with you all day on that because it does feel strange as hell. All right. Annabella says, I agree with the protesters because people everywhere are losing their job because of their choice. We no longer have freedom over our body. Now, I think, okay, so when it comes to the jobs and all that, I do think that I feel you. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of what's the words? I'm trying to find the right words, because there's buzzwords. I do agree to a certain extent, but then I do understand if there is a certain thing that you do, if it's a certain job, if it's a certain criteria, like if you're handling food, if it's a food industry, the service industry, that kind of thing, I do understand that there needs to be some sort of mandate. You're getting up to date, or you're getting certain other pokes because you're handling food. So I do feel like there is a little bit of that, and there's a little bit of a need for those kind of things. But when it comes to, you're just walking down the street and therefore you need to have it, I think that's ridiculous. I do think it's a little extreme, right? But it also depends on the job. It also depends on the owner or the higher ups who are making that decision. But I also do feel this, and I know that this is easier said than done, but I also do feel that if you have a problem with that gig doing that, then it might be that time to find a new gig where they're not requiring that. And I know that's easier said than done because there's a lot of people out here that have good jobs, have great jobs. And then suddenly this thing comes in. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, okay, they want to make sure everybody is safe. It's not like they're trying to become the Gestapo up in this bitch. They're just trying to get people safe, and stop a possible thing from happening, a spread from happening, right? So I understand that piece. It's a tough one because I do feel like there are people out here that if you are in a job that requires you to be around a lot of people, then you should definitely do what you need to do. Most definitely. But I do feel like there is a lot of other jobs where, hey, maybe they give you another option, right? If you say, hey, I really don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable getting up to date. So it's like, okay, fine. If you don't want to get up to date, would you be fine with working from home? Giving people other options other than just saying, get it or don't work here. I think that's wrong. Give people options, the opportunity to choose, rather than it being like, oh, okay, if you don't get it, we're going to chuck up the deuces and you can't work here anymore. I think that's unfair. I think it's unfair. I think if you're going to put out that kind of rule, right, you should have a plan B you should have a plan B in your back pocket. And I'm talking about the employers, I'm talking about the CEOs, I'm talking about all the owners and all that stuff. Especially if you got people who are incredible at what they say or what they do, I'm sorry. They're incredible at what they do. They're high up or whatever. There should at least be some sort of other option just in case, because then you could lose a lot of really great employees, a lot of really great talented individuals that have been working for you or working with you or working along with you, aside you, for God knows how long. So it does suck when they just rip the rug out from under you. And there's a lot of people that are scared. There are a lot of people that are scared. There are. That's why you'll never hear from me putting a gun to your head being like, you're an idiot if you don't. No. Do your due diligence. Do your research. Talk to your physician. Talk to professionals. Make your decision and stick and just do it, right? And do what you need to do, right? But the thing being dangled over your head so that you can, you can still maintain your job, I do think it's a little unfair. Right? But who am I to say anything? I do my job from my home. I don't have some sort of employee breathing down my neck, wondering if, when I'm going to, if or when I'm going to get the poke or not. You see what I'm saying? That stuff is just it sucks. I can only imagine what people in the corporate world, in the food industry, or any job actually is feeling right now. I can only imagine. But like I said, make the decision, make sure it's a decision that works for you and works for you alone, because it is going into you. It is your body. But I don't think that there needs to be full-on protests with people losing their minds outside of a sports center, sports arena. I don't think that. I think it's counterproductive, I think. Now, Chance Grows Biz. My brother-in-law is about to lose a $100K job because he has heart issues and don't want to get the poke. Now, that's what sucks too. Unless your brother is able to get some sort of note from a doctor of some sort. I mean, that's what a lot of people are doing right now. Just but making sure it's for a legitimate issue. That's what I think. But like I said, I can't really talk much about this because, the powers that be on this platform only allow people to say so much before they get in trouble. And so I get very nervous about talking about anything that revolves around this subject, because we have been in trouble before on this channel, and never have I ever said anything in the negative sense of like, don't go and get it kind of thing. I've always said, hey, make up your own mind and make the right decision for yourself. But people, I can't really talk much on this, unfortunately. But I will say this: if you're still thinking about getting it and you're leaning more towards getting it, just go and do it. Just do it. That's what I would say. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not some pro or anything. But at the same time, I do think that if right now in this climate that we're in right now, I think there are much more serious things to worry about other than whether to or whether not to. I think that if you are in a job and you're running into people all the time, you're shaking hands, kissing babies all the time, I feel like it would be safer to make that decision than to not make that decision. Because at some point, it'll most likely become a mandate for every single job. Just like I said before, you go and you get your hepatitis shot before you go work at a bar or a restaurant. You have to have those shots. You have to. It will be something that will be implemented in whatever you need before you go into the job. Just saying. It will be that. It sucks, but that's the truth. Them are the breaks. Them are most definitely the breaks. Let me see. Lady Justice, what's up, girl? The Pascal Show. My thing is, if one is going to stay, if one is going to still pay him, they should just play him. Yeah, I see what you're saying. This is foolish at this point. We're going to have to live with this illness. Absolutely. See, this is the thing. This is my issue too. At some point, like I said, it's as common as going and getting the flu shot. It'll be that thing that we all have to do because that's what we need to do so that we can continue doing our job, working wherever we need to be at. When your kids go to school, because obviously now they're starting to bring in saying that 5 to 11 years old can get up to date as well. At some point, it's going to be something that will be implemented in every single school, every job, everywhere. If you are handling food or you are public speaking or you're going to an event or you are dribbling a ball, doesn't matter. You're going to have to get the poke, whether we like it or not. We are frustrated about it, understandably, but at the same time, this will be a thing where it will be, like Michael Thomas just said, exactly. It will be the new flu. It will be. And until this virus dies out, which it may never die out, we will be doing this until it is eradicated. Or until it's non-existent. So that's what I think on it. I think no matter what, we're going to be walking down this road here very, very soon. It'll be a thing for everyone. We'll all have to do this ish, whether we like it or not. Unfortunately and fortunately, we all want to be here as long as we can. We all want to see our lives flourish and bloom into amazing things. We all want to see our seeds and our lineage grow. And of course, as cisgender males, we want to see our names and our legacy continue on and all that, and see our grandkids and great grandkids or whatever. If you can last that long, congratulations. If you do, damn. But if you do, we all want to see a pursuit of happiness and see ourselves flourish, right? This will be a thing that we're going to have implemented into our world until it is gone for good. If it ever is gone for good. So, it sucks. But it's what we got to do for now. So moving on to the next story, I do have this little piece. This has to do with Alec Baldwin and the shooting that recently happened. If you guys don't know what happened this past Friday, it was actually like Thursday. No, it was actually like Thursday night where this news broke. So Friday is when we broke it on this show. And also, by the way, hit that like button down below. That'd be really appreciated. I really, really appreciate it. But anyway. Alec Baldwin was on the set of a new movie that he's in called Rust. Yeah, I guess it's like a Western of some sort. And he had a prop gun misfire, killing the DP, Helena Hutchins. Hopefully I didn't butcher her name. But this prop gun misfires, killing her and injuring the director of the movie. Now, there has been some more information that has recently come out revolving around this shooting. Some more details, and like I said, this is terrible. But I gotta show you guys this because I know a lot of us are still wondering what the hell happened, why did this even happen, all that stuff. Now, this is from the Daily Mail. I'm not going to read this whole article because, you know, Daily Mail likes to be a little long-winded up in this piece. I mean, look at the title itself, like diggy diggy damn. Okay. So Alec Baldwin was practicing a cross draw when he accidentally killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Okay. She stumbled backwards and couldn't feel her legs after being shot in the chest as cops sees Baldwin's blood-stained Western costume. So I'm just going to read a few bullets here because obviously, like I said, this article is really long, okay? Daily Mail likes to be long-winded as hell, all right? So here it is. Baldwin was drawing a revolver across his body and pointing it at the camera during rehearsal on the set of Rust. Hutchins was shot in the chest and she stumbled backwards, unable to feel her legs. They were not rolling at the time of the shooting on Thursday at 1:50 p.m. in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Earlier that day, the crew had walked off set over safety concerns. Let me say that again. Earlier that day, the crew had walked off the set over safety concerns. Search warrants reveal Assistant Director Dave Halls handed Baldwin the gun, calling it cold. Like I said in the on the last show on Friday, what they do is they'll go in before they start rolling and all that stuff, before the weapon gets even in the hands of the actor. They will basically say there's a weapon on set. They'll say, hey, it's a cold gun, or they say it's a live gun, so on and so forth, so that people know whether or not the gun has ammo, like blanks in it. All right. So he had been working with armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was described as inexperienced this week. Baldwin was hysterical and absolutely inconsolable, for hours after the fatal accident. I don't blame him. I'd be absolutely thrown off as well once I found out that I killed somebody unbeknownst to me on accident with a gun, thinking that it's cold. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate the accident. The production company emailed crew on Sunday, encouraging them not to speak with the media. And then hours before the shooting on Thursday, again, crew walked off the set in a protest over the conditions. What the hell, y'all? So you got the crew. Like, I feel like that is the biggest piece right here. Aside from the assistant director, Dave Halls, handing him a gun, handing Alec Baldwin this gun and saying, cold gun, everybody, cold gun on set, basically saying it's okay if he pulls the trigger or messes around with it and all that stuff because there's nothing in it, guys. Hands him the gun, which also had a bullet inside the gun, y'all. A live, real round was in the gun. A real round was in the chamber, y'all. In the chamber. And hours before that, earlier that day, the crew had walked off the set over safety concerns. What were these safety concerns, y'all? That's what I'd like to know. The hell were these safety concerns? Now, the thing is there was an interview. I need to pull this up. I need to find it, actually. Need to find this because one thing that's very interesting is that the armorer, Rust's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, was sitting there talking about stuff, and she said that, hey, you know, this was a new gig. This is, you know, for her to get used to. This is her second time on a set and all that. Then she was super excited because, you know, this is an opportunity for her to do her thing. You know what I'm saying? but this was still her second channel or second movie. And she was the armorer. So let me pull this up really quick, because like I said, this is still very strange stuff, y'all. They gave a very green crew member a very important and very crucial job.
Reed, the armorer in charge of the prop guns for the movie Rust, was not confident with her job on the prior film, 24-year-old Reed said last month in the Voices of the West podcast. According to TMZ, I almost didn't take the job because I wasn't sure if I was ready, but doing it went really smoothly. At the time she was on set for the Nicolas Cage film The Old Way, which was also the first time she worked as a head armorer. On the podcast, Reed shared her fear of loading blanks in prop guns during her training, which she described as the scariest thing, but her father, legendary Hollywood armorer Thel Reed, guided her through the process. Thel Reed does not only work for Hollywood but also British royalty, as described in his IMDb profile, which says, before long, Hollywood came looking for Thel to share his skills and coach the biggest names in the business. A production source confirmed with the Daily Beast Ms. Reed was not too skillful with managing the weapons when she worked for The Old Way. She was a bit careless with the guns, waving it around every now and again, the source said. There were a couple times she was loading the blanks and doing it in a fashion that we thought was unsafe.
We don't need to listen to the rest of this, but like I said, this is information that's being said about the person that was the head of basically weapons for this picture that they were on. So you have a very young, very green, inexperienced person. Very young, very green, inexperienced person out here handling these guns and these weapons. The armorer is handling all this stuff. Lady Justice, can you send, let me see if I can click on that. Yep, I can. Never mind. So, Rust actor Jensen Ackles, I guess, spoke of gun safety on set days before shooting. I can't even. Okay, hold on. Let me send this to myself, or Lady Justice, if you can send that to me in an email, I'd really appreciate it. Then I could just pull this up over here, because that's very interesting information as well. Just let me know when you do send it. Or if you can, Lady Justice, that would be really appreciated. But like I said, this is just crazy to me. The negligence, right? The laziness. And I'll say this on top of it too. The frugalness, all right? Because clearly they were trying to cut corners so that they can save some money, so that they can make the monies, right? Thank you, Lady Justice. Let me pull this up. There it is. Let me pull this up right quick. Come on. Okay, I'm looking at this with fresh eyes as well. Okay, so Rust actor Jensen Ackles, I don't know that name, spoke of gun safety on set days before shooting. All right, so Rust actor Jensen Ackles spoke candidly about gun safety training on the film's set just days before the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Alec Baldwin, the movie's lead star and producer, on Thursday discharged the prop gun on the New Mexico set of the Western, leading to the death of Hutchins and the injury of writer-director Joel Souza. It has since been reported that Baldwin was told by an assistant director, okay, cold gun, meaning it was supposedly not loaded with live rounds after it had been prepared by the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez. Now, let me say this. It was after it was prepared by armorer Hannah Gutierrez. So she had the gun before she handed it over to the assistant director, and then the assistant director handed it over to Alec Baldwin, crying out on the set, cold gun, saying that there was nothing in the gun. Okay. According to an affidavit, Halls didn't know the prop gun contained live rounds when it was handed to Baldwin. Baldwin took to Twitter to express his shock and sadness, so on and so forth. Okay, here we go. I know who this guy is too. Oh, the Ackles guy is. Okay, Jensen Ackles. So since the fatal incident, video footage resurfaced of Ackles speaking at a convention in Denver, Colorado earlier this month about his gun training for Rust. Ackles had been attending the convention for his hit drama series Supernatural, according to Extra, which quoted him telling the crowd, "I've got a 6 a.m. call tomorrow to have a big shootout. They had me pick my gun. They were like, all right, what gun would you like?" And I was like, I don't know. And the armorer was like, do you have gun experience? I was like, a little. And she's like, okay, well, this is how you load it. This is how we check it and make sure it's safe. This is Jensen Ackles. All right. So she's like, okay, I'm going to put some blanks in there. And I just want you to just go and fire off a couple rounds towards the hill. And I was like, okay. So I put the belt on, I put the gun there, and I walked out, and she's like, just make sure that just make sure that you pull the hammer all the way back and you aim at your target. And I was like, okay, I got it. Since the video footage was reported by multiple outlets, it was removed by YouTube. However, from the footage of Ackles speaking about his gun safety training has remained on TikTok at the time of this publication. So he has stated that he had a Zoom meeting with Baldwin and Souza before joining the project. As he added, they started filming 2 weeks later. He also said to have informed fans that he wasn't the original choice for the big screen role after an unnamed actor dropped out due to scheduling conflicts. Ackles revealed that he had been filming for 2 weeks at the time of the convention. According to the convention organizer website, the event took place between October 15th and 17th. There's no evidence that Ackles was involved in the scene that led to the fatal shooting. Newsweek has contacted a representative of Ackles for comment. The production on Rust had been halted as the investigation into the shooting by Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office continues. This investigation remains to be open and active. No charges have been filed in regard to this incident. Witnesses continue to be interviewed by detectives. According to IMDb, the 19th century set film follows Harlan Rust, portrayed by Baldwin, who goes on the run with his grandson after he's sentenced for the accidental killing of a local rancher. Other stars include a whole bunch of other people, and that's it. So I guess the way it was brought up, I guess the way that this person was talking about this, the Jensen and the how she was teaching him how to use the gun, I guess, was a little it was almost like bullets, lack of a better word, like this, like like the cliff notes on how to handle a gun in a way, instead of going, hey, here we go, this is how you handle a gun, which is wild to me. You can clearly see that this is a situation where they were cutting corners on money. They were trying to keep it on the cheap. They were trying to save money. And then next thing you know, they hired somebody while also trying to save money. Brought somebody who was very, 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 very green, had no idea what they were doing. This was their second movie that they had ever done. And she loaded the gun, allegedly loaded the gun with a bullet, a live round, handed it to the assistant director. Then the assistant director handed it to Alec Baldwin, confidently thinking or believing that the gun was actually empty. There it is, y'all. Like I said, this is a very, very sad story. I feel terrible for Alec Baldwin. Actually, there's another thing I wanted to pull this up because there's another reason why I wanted to bring this up. Donald Trump Jr. is back in the trending. You want to know why? Because this guy's a piece of work. This dude is a piece of work. Now, in light of everything that's recently happened with Alec Baldwin, I don't care what you think. I don't care where you stand. If Donald Trump, okay, I'm not a fan, but if Donald Trump was holding the gun, was holding that smoking gun, and he was devastated, and it was clearly an accident, a freak accident, I'd feel sorry for him too. I'd feel terrible for him too. All right? There's a reason why I'm saying this. Doesn't matter what you think of Alec Baldwin, if you think he's a jerk or if you think he's a great actor or whatever. It doesn't matter. What happened is terrible. And somebody lost their life, and somebody is injured because of this, because of somebody else's negligence. All right? But you don't do this. Donald Trump Jr., everybody, take a look. Boom. Guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people. That's literally a t-shirt that he put up, and he's selling these t-shirts for $28 on his website. And the grift just keeps on grifting. Okay? Like I said, doesn't matter where you stand, where you think, what your opinions are on this gentleman as an actor or as his political views or anything like that. What happened was terrible. But you don't go and profit off of somebody's nightmare. And now we have t-shirts that Donald Trump Jr., okay? The white Escobar, okay? Is selling these t-shirts for $28 a pop on his website right now. Yeah. I'm just letting it linger up there because I want it to soak down all the way down to your plums, okay? Imagine if this was your name in there instead of Alec Baldwin's name because of something that happened, an accident. And we already know where Alec Baldwin's thoughts are politically with gun control and all that stuff. All right. But this is not cool. This is not cool. Doesn't matter where you stand. This is not cool. This is tasteless. It's grifting like a crazy. It's grifting like a mother lover, in my personal opinion. And as we already know, as we're hearing more and more information about this whole situation revolving around this accidental shooting, what the other thing that happened that messes up this story is how they made bad choices on who they hired, on who they brought into their picture, into the production. They should have brought the best people, paid the top dollar for people who knew exactly what they were doing. Now, here's the other thing, too. I could see it like some people just need a chance to get a job, right? Need a chance so that they can expand or, cut their teeth, get more experience on their resume. He might have hired Hannah Gutierrez Reed as a favor to the father. You never know. But she clearly is extremely green. And now we have somebody who is dead because of her negligence. Because of her negligence. This person is no longer here. A mother, a creator. No longer here. Because they hired the wrong person to do a very, very big and very crucial job. The other thing is we don't know where the gun was. If her negligence was that bad, who's to say somebody went up and just put in a bullet just because they're a jerk, unbeknownst to her, while she turned her back because she was busy horsing around and having a great time on the set? You never know. I mean, think about it for a second, y'all. Think about it. If she was that negligent, if she was that unfocused, that they were able to put a live round in the gun, who's to say she just happened to just walk away from the guns and some jerk piece of trash went up there and put a bullet in there? That could possibly be it too. Or she literally put it in there, didn't realize that she put in a real live round in that gun, thinking, maybe walked away, did whatever she was doing, horsing around, God knows what, came back, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it's empty. Here you go. Then Kenny says she wasn't there. If she wasn't there, then why were they handling guns without their armorer on the set? That's what I'd like to know, Lady Justice. But that is why gun training is so crucial, so each hand can check and ensure it was a blank or gun is functional. I do agree. I feel like when it comes to a set like that, especially whenever it's a shoot 'em up kind of movie, Western, or if it's like a Michael Bay movie where everything's just bullets flying everywhere, I feel like every single last person should have gun training. I feel like everybody from in front of the camera and behind, so you know exactly what to do when ish goes down. Or just in case that some idiot leaves a freaking gun just laying out there on the table, you can at least go pick it up, know how to handle it, put it back where it needs to go, or you know how to open it up, check to see if there's anything inside the gun, so on and so forth. That's what I think needs to be done, period. There needs to be safety precautions on all people at all times, especially if you're going to be in a room filled with guns, with a show or a picture or a movie that is going to be heavily gun-oriented. I feel like every single person, just even if you're not even holding the gun, you should know about it. Doesn't matter if you're holding the gun. You should know about it. You should know every single bit about it, so that when you're on set, you know how to act properly around it. You know what it does, what it doesn't do, so on and so forth. So that maybe this situation wouldn't have happened. Like, you pick up a gun, you hand it to the actor and say, "Cold gun on set." I feel like no matter what, even if the armorer is there or not, what needs to happen is this. The armorer has, let's just say that Hannah Gutierrez Reed was actually there. Let's just play this out. Let's just say she had it in her hand. She opens it up, empty. It's a cold gun. She opens it up. She shows it to the assistant director. The assistant director looks inside the gun to see that there is nothing in the chamber. There's nothing in the thing. It's all empty, like she said it is. She hands it to the actor. The actor looks at it again. So you get it looked at 3 separate times so that there's no way of messing this up. No way that somebody who could get shot because he was practicing a cross draw type action. And because he's like me, I would have pulled the trigger too, just for fun. Bap, bang, just to get used to the feeling of squeezing the trigger. But if you do it 3 separate times, boom, armor, he's going empty, cold gun, hand it to the person. He opens it up, cold gun, closes it, give it to the gun, or they're showing it to all 3 of them. Cold gun, everybody, see? There are no bullets in this gun. No live rounds, no blanks, no nothing in this gun. You see it? Do you see it? Yes, I see it. Let's go. All right. Everyone back to 1 and action. That's it. Period. Then you wouldn't have to do all this crazy stuff. Then this wouldn't have happened. This freak accident would never have happened. You check, you double check, you triple check. If you have to, you quadruple check. And then you start the shoot. Then you start filming. And that's it. But they brought somebody very green on the set. And they already said that people left in protest to the safety precautions that were going on the set. And that's the thing. What I want to know is what's going on. What was going on the set that would make people, that would inspire people to say, F it, I'm out. I'm out, y'all. I'm not doing this shoot. The safety precautions are not up to par. What is going on here? What makes somebody do that? Right? It's a damn shame. I feel very, very sorry for Alec Baldwin. I feel extremely sorry for the family of Helena Hutchins. I feel terrible for that family. And this may not be a movie that we ever see the light. I don't think this movie is ever going to see the light of day. I'll be incredibly surprised if they continue shooting after this incident that happened. It's a damn shame, y'all. But anyway, guys, that is the show, guys. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched the show today. There was a lot to talk about, a lot of craziness going on, y'all. A lot of sad stuff today. I'm sorry, but hopefully we started off with a smile, right? And like I said, every show that I do from this point on, I will be throwing up some sort of skit or something in the mix as we get through all this stuff, okay? Because there's still going to be a lot of developing pieces going on here as things go on. Oh, by the way, I got a new chair. You know what I mean? Look at that, nice little swivel chair. You know, it's a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. Today's the first day trying this chair out. Like I said, it pivots and it swivels and it's on wheels and stuff. It's just I'm a big guy. I need a bigger chair. This chair is just this ain't it. But hey, it beats using a dining room table chair that I've been using for the past year, for the past year and a half, y'all. Damn. But anyway, you know how it is. It's hard out here for a pimp. You do what you need to do until it's time to get that swivel chair. But yeah, this is a new one. Trying it out. All right. But anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being on, chopping it up with me and everything. And if I don't see you guys, I'm going to be on for the rest of this week. But if I don't see you guys and y'all like, hey, I'm taking the week off or something like that, happy Halloween. Hopefully you guys are doing what you need to do to get things going to enjoy All Hallows Eve. Because I don't know about you, but I am. I'm trying to have some fun. And maybe you guys will get a chance to see it too. You never know. You never know. But anyway, before you guys all dip out and everything, please follow me on Instagram, The Pascal Show, one word. And also please follow me on Twitter, The Pascal Show, one word as well. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to crush that subscribe button. Saw a lot of beautiful souls in the house today. So please do your due diligence. Check out the show. See all the other shows, other pieces I have on this channel. It'd be really, really appreciated. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I will see you guys very, very soon, okay? This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused. We have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.